Okay, welcome back. Welcome back, maybe. I have reset my Wi Fi, restarted OBS. Literally, like the app for my Wi Fi says, oh, everything's good. You have 103% plan speed, strong Wi Fi, wired connection. Good, good. So I don't know. I'm very confused, but welcome. I'm just going to ignore everything that happened previously. Hello, Navy. Can you hear me? Are we out? Are we alive? I don't know what's happening. Sorry if you're getting a bunch of notifications. I do not know what's happening Wi-Fi wise or OBS wise. So I reset the Wi-Fi. I just want to read a book, god damn it, Twitch. Could be Roger's fault. Rogers could be lying to me. Or OBS's. I don't know who to believe. Anyway, welcome. Welcome everyone. Okay, hello everyone. Restream streak. Crazy. Hello Navy, hello Zircon. I've gotta set up again. Something hates me. I don't know if it's Rogers or if it's my computer or if it's OBS. Do not know, but it's fine. Korean cooking show. Gonna miss the Odyssey. Anyway, as I was oh my god, I turned off my phone. Ah Christ. Okay. As I was kind of saying earlier, I wanna try and read the Odyssey more, like either Saturday or Sunday. So Saturday or Sunday story time. Because that's fun. There we go. There's the book. But for now, we are back with the Odyssey. And I don't know. Everything's telling me that connection wise is good. We're gonna see. If it goes bad, I'll have the recording. Oh, goodness. Yes, welcome. Sorry I haven't been around. I did post a video, and I was saying how I am really happy that people seem to be enjoying my Alchem 3 series. It has been getting actually a lot of views. Um, my first one 4 months ago reached 100 views, which is like even more than my TKO and my Sonic ones. So it's looking like people are really enjoying my Alchem 3 videos, and I'm really glad. That's funny. I feel like I've heard it might be that one. I feel like Zircon's talked about this, at least a conversation I remember. Anyway, welcome. My phone camera's laggy again. Sorry. I don't have a camera. Maybe that'll be next year's Christmas gift. This year's was Stream Deck. Um, before we begin, I wanted to show you guys some little trinkets because I have the camera, so I figured why not. So, I don't know about dollar stores near you guys, but dollar stores around here have been having a lot of blind boxes. And a lot of different Minecraft ones. Fitz has been getting a lot of Minecraft blind boxes. Um, there's ones that are like little figures. I got everyone a couple for Christmas for everyone's birthday. And most recently, like some of them are like the metal little figures. That's fair. But recently they've been doing I'll show you one. This. Okay? Stick with me. So the best thing about this, he's a stamp. Oh, you can just barely see that. Look at that. So, I've got a couple. We've also got Alex. And they're all like colored stamps. These are actually really sick, I think. Um, and we've got a cat. Oh, the video decided to be nice. Look at those. They're awesome. The cat is also lightly flocked. You know what that is? Same with the skeleton and the creeper. They're both like fuzzy. And I think Fitz got a zombie pigment. Isn't that awesome? These are all the ones that I have, but I think there's a witch. Look at those. Maybe I'll steal Fitz's so I can show you guys. Hold on. Okay, I stole one from Fitz. Oh my god. So this is the zombie pigman. Be nice if that was like a red, I think, but that works too. Look at all those. Aren't those so cute? I'm using these on like everything now. But I think there's like an iron golem. There's probably a zombie. There's a witch, I think. Yeah, they're so great. They're so great. And then there's also other ones that have just like figures. Oh my god. That would be amazing. Also on Dollarama blind boxes, because I'm definitely not obsessed. Mini brats. Okay? Stick with me. Stick with me. That's so good. It's like a full actual package and everything. Bratz Rock Angels is also like amazing. I don't know if y'all know Bratz, but they also have like a car that you can get. They fit in these little boxes. These are the ones that I've opened because I haven't shown them on TikTok because I just didn't want to. Like Bratz Princess. Aren't those so cute? It was like $5 for two of those. So not bad, honestly. So cool. Dollarama's got some good things right now. Anyway, I had to show you guys that immensely. Okay, it's now past 9 p.m., so maybe I should start reading. Oh, and Navy, I saw those books. Those are so good. So, if you're reading along, feel free to read along, but it'll also be on the screen for you. The Red-Haired King and His Lady. Picture first. Okay. You gotta let me know if, like, the sound is too loud or something. I don't know. This is chapter 4, I believe, yeah? Chapter 4. By vales and sharp ravines in Lacedaemon. Lacedaemon? The travelers drove to Menelaus's mansion and found him at a double wedding feast for son and daughter. So, okay, maybe we should go back. We've been mainly following Telemachus, and he's on his way here, I think. Anyway. Long ago at Troy, he pledged her to the heir of great Achilles, breaker of men. A match the god had ripened, so he must send her with a chariot train to the town and glory of the Myrmidon. Myrmidon? And that day, too, he brought elector's daughter, to marry his tall scion, Megapenthes. What kind of name is that? Born of a slave girl during the Long War, where the gods had never after granted Helen a child to bring into the sunlit world. After the first rose-lipped Hermione, a girl like the pale gold goddess Aphrodite. Down the great hall in happiness they feasted, neighbors of Menelaus and his kin, for whom a holy minstrel harpened and sang, and two lithe tumblers moved out on the song, with spins and handsprings throughout the company. Oh, my setup's just a little janky. Now, when Telemachus and Nestor's sons pulled up their horses at the main gate, one of the king's companions in arms, Tonus, going outside, caught sight of them. He turned and passed through court and hall to tell the master, stepping up close to get to his ear. Said he, "Two men are here, two strangers, Menelaus, but nobly born Achaeans they appear. What do you say? Shall we unhitch their team, or send them on to someone free to receive them?" The red-haired captain answered him in anger. "You were no idiot before, Etonius, but here you are talking like a child of 10. Could we have made it home again, and Zeus give us no more hard roving? If other men had never fed us, given us lodging, bring those men to be our guest, unhitch their team." Etonius left the long room like an arrow, calling equerries after him on the run. Outside, they freed the sweating team from harnesses, stabled the horses, tied them up, and showered bushels of wheat and barley in the feed box, then leaned the chariot pole against the gleaming entry wall of stone, took the guests in. What a brilliant place that mansion of the great prince seemed to them, a glitter everywhere as though with fiery points of sunlight, lusters of the moon. The young men gazed in joy before they entered into a room of polished tubs to bathe. Maidservants gave them baths, anointed them, held out fresh tunics, cloaked them warm, and soon they took tall thrones beside the son of Atreus. Here a maid tipped out water for their hands from a golden pitcher into a silver bowl, and set a polished table near at hand. The larder mistress with her tray of loaves and savories came, dispensing all her best, and then a carver heaped their platters high with various meats and put down cups of gold. "Now," said the red-haired captain, Menelaus gestured, "welcome and fall to. In time when you have supped, in time when you have supped, we hope to hear your names. Forebears and families in your case it seems. No anonymities, but lordly men. Lads like yourselves are not base-born." At this he lifted his own hands, the king's portion, a chine of beef, and set it down before them. Seeing all ready then, they took their dinner. But when they had feasted well, Telemachus could not keep still, but whispered, his head bent close so the others might not hear, "My dear friend, can you believe your eyes? The murmuring hall, how luminous it is, with bronze, gold, amber, silver, and ivory. This is the way the court of Zeus must be inside, upon Olympus. What a wonder!" But splendid Menelaus had overheard him, and spoke out on the instant to them both. "Young friends, no mortal man can vie with Zeus. His home and all his treasures are forever. But as for men, it may well be that few have more than I. How painfully I wandered before I brought it home. 7 years at sea, Cypros, Phoenicia, Egypt, and still farther, among the sunburnt races. I saw the men of Sidon and Arabia, and Libya too, where lambs are horned at birth, and every year they have 3 lambing seasons, so no man, chief, or shepherd ever goes hungry for want of mutton, cheese, or milk. All year at milking time there were fresh ewes. While I made my fortune on those travels, a stranger killed my brother in cold blood. Tricked blind, caught in the web of his deadly queen, what pleasure can I take then, being lord over these costly things? You must have heard your father tell my story. Whoever your fathers are, you must know of my life, the anguish I once had in the great house full of my treasure, left in desolation. How gladly I should live 1/3 as rich to have my friends back safe at home, my friends who died on Troy's wide seaboard, far from the grazing lands of Argos. But as things are, nothing but grief is left me for those companions. While I sit at home, sometimes hot tears come, and I revel in them, or stop before the surfeit makes me shiver. And there is one I miss more than the other dead I mourn for. Sleep and food alike grow hateful when I think of him. No soldier took on so much, went through so much, as Odysseus. That seems to have been his destiny, and thus mine. To feel each day the emptiness of his absence, ignorant even whether he lived or died. How his old father and his quiet wife, Penelope, must miss him still, and Telemachus, whom he left as a newborn child. That's him, guys. Now, hearing those things, the boy's heart rose in a long pang for his father, and he wept, holding his purple mantle with both hands before his eyes. Menelaus knew him now, and so fell silent with uncertainty whether to let him speak and name his father. Name his father in his own time, or to inquire and prompt him. And while he pondered, Helen came out of her scented chamber, a moving grace like Artemis, straight as a shaft of gold. Beside her came a drast to place her armchair. I'll keep with a rug of downy wool, and Philo bringing a silver basket, once given by Alcandre, the wife of Polybus, in the treasure city. Thebes, Thebes of distant Egypt, he gave 2 silver bathtubs to Menelaus, and a pair of tripods with 10 pure gold bars. And she then made this beautiful gifts to Helen, the golden distaff and the silver basket rimmed in hammered gold with wheels to run on. So Philo rolled it in to stand beside her, heaped with fine spun stuff, and cradled on it the distaff swathed in dusty violet wool. What is a tripod in this? Sacrificial tripod? Oh, it's just like a little bowl that has 3 legs and like is kind of round at the top. That's a tripod. I mean, yeah. What's a distaff? Let's get that while we're here. Okay, that's kind of what I thought. So she's spinning wool for context. That's what I thought, but I wasn't exactly sure. Okay. Distaff is where, yeah, the loose wool would be that she's then like hand spinning. That makes sense. Imagine you're just having a conversation with the king, and he's like, "Ah, if only I heard about your father. I don't know if he's dead or not." You start to cry. In walks 4 women, all to set up one woman's weaving, just casually beside you. Okay. Reclining in her light chair with its footrest, Helen gazed at her husband and demanded, "Menelaus, my lord, have we yet heard our new guests introduce themselves? Shall I disassemble what I feel? No, I must say it. Never, anywhere, have I seen so great a likeness in man or woman, but it is truly strange. This boy must be the son of Odysseus, Telemachus, the child he left at home. That year the Achaean host made war on Troy, during all for the wanton that I was." Oh, this is Helen of Troy. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense. And the red-haired Captain Menelaus answered, "My dear, I see the likeness as well as you do. Odysseus's hands and feet were like this boy's, his head and hair and the glinting of his eyes. Not only that, but when I spoke just now of Odysseus's years of toil on my behalf, and all he had to endure, the boy broke down and wept into his cloak." Mantle is also, it's a cloak. I know that. Now Nestor's son, Pisistratos, spoke up in answer to him. "My lord Marshal? Sorry. My lord Marshal Menelaus, son of Atreus. This is that hero's son, as you surmise. But he is gentle and would be ashamed to clamor for attention before your grace, whose words have been so moving to us both. Nestor, lord of Gerinia, sent me with him as guide and escort. He had wished to see you, to be advised by you, or assisted somehow. A father far from home means difficulty for an only son with no one else to help him. So with Telemachus, his father left the house without defenders. The king with flaming hair now spoke again. His son in my house? How I loved the man, and how he fought through hardship for my sake. I swore I'd cherish him above all others. If Zeus, who views the wide world, gave us passage homeward across the sea in the fast ships, I would have settled him in Argos, brought him over with herds and household out of Ithaca, his child and all his people. I could have cleaned out one of my towns to be his new domain. And so we might have been together often in feasts and entertainments, never parted till the dark mist of death lapped over one of us. But God himself must have been envious, to batter the bruised man so that he alone should fail in his return. That is, that does make sense. Marshall could be a title. It seems funny that his name would be Marshall. They didn't really have last names. That's why they do son of. Marshall must be a title. A twinging ache of grief rose up in everyone, and Helen of Argos wept, the daughter of Zeus. Telemachus and Menelaus wept, and tears came to the eyes of Nestor's son, remembering for his part Antilochus, whom the son of shining dawn had killed in battle. But thinking of that brother, he broke out, "O son of Atreus, when we'd spoke of you at home and asked about you, my old father would say you had the clearest mind of all. If it is not too much to ask, then, let us not weep away these hours after supper. I feel we should not. Dawn will soon be here. You understand, I would not grudge a man right mourning when he comes to death and doom. What else can one bestow on the poor dead? A lock of hair sheared and a tear let fall. For that matter, I too lost someone in the war at Troy, my brother, and no mean soldier, whom you must have known, although I never did, Antilochus. He ranked high as a runner and a fighting man. The red-haired Captain Menelaus answered, "My lad, what you have said is only sensible, and you did well to speak. Yes, that was worthy, a wise man and an older man than you are. You speak for all the world like Nestor's son. How easily one can tell the man whose father had true felicity, marrying and begetting. And that was true of Nestor, all his days, down to his sleek old age and peace at home, with clever sons, good spearsmen into the bargain. Come, we'll shake off this morning mood of ours, and think of supper. Let the men at arms rinse our hands again. There will be time for a long talk with Telemachus in the morning." The hero Menelaus' companion in arms, Asphalion, poured water over their hands, and once again they touched the food before them. But now it entered Helen's mind to drop into the wine that they were drinking an anodyne? Mild magic of forgetfulness? Whoever drank this mixture in the wine bowl would be incapable of tears that day, though he should lose mother and father both, or see with his own eyes a son or brother mauled by weapons of bronze at his own gate. The opiate of Zeus's daughter bore this canning power. It had been supplied her by Polydamna, mistress of Lord Thon, in Egypt, where the rich plantations grow herbs of all kind, maleficent and healthful. And no one else knows medicine as they do. Egyptian heirs of Paean, the healing god. Okay, sure, girl. She drugged the wine, then had it served, and said, taking again her part in the conversation, "O Menelaus, Atreus' royal son, and you that are great heroes' son, you know how Zeus gives all of us in turn good luck and bad luck, being all powerful. So take refreshment, take your ease in hall, and cheer the time with stories. I'll begin. Not that I think of naming, far less telling, every feat of that rugged man Odysseus, but here is something that he dared to do at Troy, where you Achaeans endured the war. He had first given himself an outrageous beating and thrown some rags on like a household slave, then slipped into the city of wide lanes among his enemies. So changed he looked as never before upon the Achaeans' beachhead, but like a beggar merged in the townspeople, and no one there remarked him. But I knew him even as he was. I knew him, and questioned him. How shrewdly he put me off. But in the end I bathed him and anointed him, and put a fresh cloak around him, swore an oath not to give him away as Odysseus to the Trojans, till he got back to camp, where the long ships lay. He spoke up then and told me all about the Achaeans and their plans, then sorted many Trojans through the body on his way out, with what he learned of theirs. The Trojan woman raised a cry, but my heart sang, for I had come round, long before, to dreams of sailing home, and I repented the mad day Aphrodite drew me away from my dear fatherland, forsaking all, child, bridal bed, and husband, a man without defect in form or mind. Replied the red-haired Captain Menelaus, "An excellent tale, my dear, and most becoming. In my life I have met in many countries foresight and wit and many first-rate men, but never have I seen one like Odysseus. For steadiness and a stout heart, here, for instance, is what he did. Had the cold nerve to do inside the hollow horse where we were waiting. Picked men all of us for the Trojan slaughter, when all of a sudden you came by, I dare say, drawn by some superhuman power, that planned an exploit for the Trojans. and Deiphobos, that handsome man, came with you. 3 times you walked around it, patting it everywhere, and called by name the flower of our fighters, making your voice sound like their wives calling. Diomedes and I crouched in the center, along with Odysseus. We could hear you plainly, and listening, we too were swept by waves of longing to reply or go. Odysseus fought us down, despite our craving, and all the Achaeans kept their lips shut tight, all but Anticlus. Desire moved his throat to hail you, but Odysseus's great hands clamped over his jaws and held. So he saved us all, till Pallas Athena led you away at last. Then clear-headed Telemachus addressed him. My lord Marshal Menelaus, son of Atreus, all the more pity, since these valors could not defend him from annihilation. Not if his heart were iron in his breast, but will you not dismiss us for the night now? Sweet sleep will be pleasure drifting over us. He said no more, but Helen called the maids and sent them to make beds with purple rugs, piled up and the sheets outspread in fleecy coverlets. In the porch inside the gate, the girls went out with torches in their hands, and presently a squire led the guest. Telemachus and Nestor's radiant son, under the entrance colonnade to bed. Then deep in the great mansion in his chamber, Menelaus went to rest, and Helen, queenly in her long gown, laid beside him. When the young dawn with fingertips of rose made heaven bright, the deep-lunged man of battle stood up, pulled on his tunic and his mantle, slung on sword belt and a new-edged sword, tied his smooth feet into fine rawhide sandals, and left his room. The god's brilliance upon him, he sat down by Telemachus, asking gently, Telemachus, why did you come, sir, riding the sea's broad back to reach old Lake Diamon? A public's errand or private? Why precisely? Telemachus replied, My lord Marshal Menelaus, son of Atreus, I come to hear what news you had of father. My house, my good estates are being ruined. Each day my mother's bullying suitors come to slaughter flocks of mine and my black cattle. Enemies crowd our home. This is why I come to you for news of him who owned it. Tell me of his death, sir, if perhaps you witnessed it or have heard some wanderer tell the tale. The man was born for trouble. Spare me no part in for kindness' sake, be harsh. But put the scene before me as you saw it, if ever Odysseus, my noble father, served you by promise, kept your word, kept or work accomplished in the land of Troy, where you Achaeans suffered. Recall those things for me the way they were. Stirred now to anger, Menelaus said, Intolerable, that soft men as they are, should think to lie in that great captain's bed. Fawns in a lion's lair, as if a doe put down her litter of sucklings there while she quested a glen or cropped some grassy hollow. Ha! Then the Lord returns to his own bed and deals out wretched doom on both alike. So will Odysseus deal out doom on these. O Father Zeus, Athena, and Apollo, I pray he comes out as once he was in Lesbos, where he stood up to wrestle Philomelides, champion and island king, and smashed him down. How the Achaeans cheered! If only that Odysseus met the suitors, they'd have their consummation a cold bed. Now for your questions, let me come to the point. I would never misreport it for you. Let me tell you what the Ancient of the Sea, who is infallible, said to me, every word. I do wonder if we're ever going to get Odysseus's part, or is this all just going to be told by Telemachus's being told? During my first try At a passage homeward, the gods detained me, tied me down to Egypt, where I had been too scant in hecatombs, and gods will have the rules each time remembered. There's an island washed by the open sea, lying off Nile mouth. Seamen call it Pharos, distant a day's sail in a clean hull, with a brisk land breeze behind. It was a harbor, a sheltered bay where shipmasters take on dark water for the outward voyage. Here the gods held me 20 days becalmed. No winds came up, seaward escorting winds for ships that ride the sea's broad back. And so my stores and men were used up. We were failing, had not one goddess intervened in pity. Edothea, daughter of Proteus, the ancient of the sea, how I distressed her. I had been walking out alone that day. My sailors, thin bellied from the long fast, were off with fish hooks, angling on the shore. Then she appeared to me, and her voice sang, "What fool is here? What dropping dance of dreams? Or can it be, friend, that you love to suffer? How can you linger on this island, aimless and shiftless, while your people waste away?" To this I quickly answered, "Let me tell you, goddess, whatever goddess you may be, those doldrums are no will of mine. I take it the gods who are broad heaven are offended. Why don't you tell me, since the gods know everything? Who is pinned down here? Who has me pinned down here? How am I going to make my voyage home?" Now she replied in her immortal beauty, "I'll put it for you clearly as may be, friend. The ancient of the salt sea haunts this place, immortal Proteus of Egypt. All the deeps are known to him. He serves under Poseidon, and is, they say, my father. If you could take him by surprise and hold him, he'd give you course and distance for your sailing, homeward across the cold fish-breeding sea. And you should wish it, noble friend. He'd tell you all that occurred at home, both good and evil, while you were gone so long and hard a journey." To this I said, "But you now, you must tell me how I can trap this vulnerable sea god. He will elude me if he takes alarm. No man, God knows, can quell a god with ease." The faintest of unearthly nymphs replied, "I'll tell you this, too, clearly as may be. When the sun hangs at high noon in heaven, the ancient glides ashore under the west wind, hidden by shivering glooms on the clear water, and rests in caverns hollowed out by sea. There flippered seals, brine children, shining come from silvery foam in crowds to lie around him, exhaling rankness from the deep sea floor. Tomorrow dawn I'll take you to those caves and bid you down there. Choose 3 officers for company, brave men they had better be. The old one has strange powers, I must tell you. He goes amid the seals to check their number. And when he sees them all and counts them all, he lies down like a shepherd with his flock. Here is your opportunity. At this point, gather yourselves with all your heart and strength, and tackle him before he bursts away. He'll make you fight, for he can take the forms of all the beasts in water and blinding fire, but you must hold on, even so, and crush him until he breaks the silence. When he does, he'll be in the shape you saw asleep. Relax your grip then, set the ancient free, and put your questions, hero. Who is the god so hostile to you, and how will you go home on the flat, fish-cold sea?" At this she dove under a swell and left me. Back to the ships in the sandy cove I went, my heart within me like a high surf running. But there I joined my men once more at supper, as the sacred night came on, and slept at last beside the lapping water. When dawn spread out her fingertips of rose, I started by the sea's wide level waves, praying the gods for help. and took along 3 lads I counted on in any fight. Meanwhile, the Nereid swarm from the lap of ocean laden with 4 seal skins new flayed for the hoax she thought was playing on her father. But in the sand she scooped out hollows for our bodies and sat down waiting. We came close to touch her, and betting us, she threw the sealskins over us, a strong disguise. Oh yes, terribly strong, as I recall the stench of those damned seals. Would any man lie snug with a sea monster? But here the nymph again came to our rescue, dabbing ambrosia under each man's nose, a perfume drowning out the bestial odor. So there we lay with beating hearts all morning, while seals came shoreward out of ripples, jostling to take their places, flopping on the sand. At noon the ancient issued from the sea and held inspection. Counting off the sea beasts. We were the first he numbered. He went by, detecting nothing. When at last he slept, we gave a battle cry and plunged for him, locking our hands behind him. But the old one's tricks were not knocked out of him, far from it. Did he not count like 3 extra seals? Is that not important? First he took on a whiskered lion's shape, a serpent then, a leopard, a great boar. Then sousing water, then a tall green tree. Still we hung on, by hook or crook, through everything, until the ancient saw defeat and grimly opened his lips to ask me, Son of Atreus, who counseled you to this? A god? What god? Set a trap for me. Overpower me. Why? Hey, Zircon. He bit it off then, and I answered, Old one, you know the reason. Why feign not to know? High and dry so long upon this island, I'm at my wit's end and my heart is sore. You gods know everything, now you can tell me. Which of the immortals chained me here, and how will I get home on the fish-cold sea? He made reply at once. You should have paid honor to Zeus and the other gods, performing a proper sacrifice before embarking. This was your short way home on the wine-dark sea. You may not see your friends, your own fine house, or enter your own land again, unless you first remount the Nile and food, and pay your hecatomb to the gods of heaven. Then and only again, then and then only, the gods will grant the passage you desire. Nice. Ah, how my heart sank hearing this, hearing him send me back on the cloudy sea in my own track, the long hard way of Egypt. Nevertheless, I answered him and said, Ancient, I shall do as you command, but tell me now, the others, had they a safe return, all those Achaeans, who stayed behind when Nestor and I left Troy? Or were there any lost at sea? What bitterness! Any who died in camp after the war? To this he said, For you to know these things goes beyond all necessity, Menelaus. Why must you ask? You should not know my mind, and you will grieve to learn it, I can tell you. Many there were who died, many remain, but 2 high officers alone were lost on the passage home. I mean, you saw the war. One is alive, a castaway at sea. The other, Aias, perished with all hands. Who first Poseidon landed him on Gyrea promontory, and saved him from the ocean. Despite Athena's hate, he had lived on. But the great sinner, in his insolence, yelled that the gods' will and the sea were beaten, and this loud brag came to Poseidon's ears. He swung the trident in his massive hands, and in one shock from top to bottom, split that promontory, toppling into the sea. The fragment where the great fool sat. So the vast ocean had its will with Aias, drunk in the end on salt spume as he drowned. Okay, what is promontory? I don't know how to describe it, but it's it's this. 5 stream streak. They only started counting those recently, maybe. Or maybe they only know how to count to 5. Ah, no. So yeah, I have been looking up a couple things here and there. For any other sake, this is a mantle. It's kind of a coat, you could say. Usually wool. Oops. Unfortunately, I am yawning. Terribly sorry. It's not the story's fault. Reading is just relaxing. I also had work today, so that doesn't help. But anyway, this is Menelaus's account of him getting home from Troy so far. Okay. Ugh. Meanwhile, your brother left that doom astern. In his decked ships, Lady Hera saved him, and as he came round Alea, a fresh squall caught him, bearing him away over the cold sea, groaning in disgust, to the land's end of Argos, where Thyestes lived in the days of old. And then his son, Aegisthus, now again returned, seemed easy. That's real navy. The high gods wound the wind into the east, wound the wind into the east, and back he sailed, this time to his own coast. He went ashore and kissed the earth in joy, hot tears blinding his eyes at sight of home. But there were eyes that watched him from a height. Look out, paid 2 bars of gold, vigil the ground for Aegisthus' sake. That he should be forewarned, and Agamemnon's furious valor sleep unroused. Now this man with his news ran to the tyrant, who made his crooked arrangements in a flash, stationed picked men at arms, a score of men in hiding, set a feast in the next room. Then he went out with chariots and horses to hail the king and welcome him to evil. He led him to banquet all serene and killed him, like an oxen felled at the trough, and not a man of either company survived the ambush in Aegisthus' house. I do have a list of shows to watch. It's in my notes app. Do I touch it or actively add to it? Not that often. Before the end, my heart was broken down. I slumped on the trampled sand and cried aloud, caring no more for life or the light of day, and rolled there weeping, till my tears were spent. Then the unerring ancient said at last, "No more, no more. How long must you perish? Nothing is gained by grieving so. How soon can you return to Argos? You may take him alive there still, or else meanwhile Orestes will have him dispatched him. He'll attend the feast." At this my heart revived, and I recovered the self killing it. At this my heart revived, and I recovered the self commanded to question him once more. Of two companions now I know. The third? Tell me his name, the one marooned at sea. Living, you say, or dead? Even in pain, I wish to hear. So, when Menelaus was coming home, he got stopped in Egypt because he hasn't been paying to the gods. So he tracked down like a minor god and he's like, "Who's keeping me here?" And he's also telling him about other ships, um, of which, what was his name? Aias drowned, I guess. So him and his crew drowned. And then Aegisthos got killed by, or Agamemnon got killed by Aegisthos. Because we vaguely heard about that earlier. That is fair, Navy. I don't watch a whole lot of shows. Like, if I'm gonna watch something on my own, it's usually YouTube. Okay, who did we hear about dying? Was it Agamemnon? How did he die? There's so many names to keep up with. Okay, yeah. So this was Agamemnon being killed by, I guess, because there was roughly 5 ships that survived the Battle of Troy. Okay. And now he's asking the god, well, what about Odysseus' ship? Okay. And this is all he answered. Laertes' son, whose home is Ithaca, I saw him weeping, weeping on an island. The nymph Calypso has him in her hall. No means of faring home are left him now. No ship with oars and no ship's company to pull him on the broad back of the sea. As to your own destiny, Prince Menelaos, you shall not die in the blue grass land of Argos. Rather, the gods intend you for Elysion, with golden Rhadamanthos at the world's end, where all existence is a dream of ease. Snowfall is never known there, neither long frost or winter or torrential rain, but only mild and luring airs from ocean bearing refreshment for the souls of men. The west wind always blowing, for the gods hold you as Helen's lord, son of Zeus. At this he dove under a swell and left me, and I went back to the ship with my companions, feeling my heart's blood in me running high. But in the long hull's shadow near the sea, we supped again, the sacred night came on, and slept at last besides the lapping water. When dawn spread out her fingertips of rose, in first light we launched on the courtly breakers, setting up masts and yards in the well-found ships, went all on board and braced on planks, athwart oarsmen and lines dipped oars in the grey sea. Soon I drew into the great storm, felled by heaven, and laying by slew bulls in the proper number until the immortal gods were thus appeased. Then heaped a death mound on that shore against all quenching time for Agamemnon's honor, and put to sea once more. The gods sent down a stern wind for a racing passage homeward. Spearful? I don't know how popular Minesweeper PvP is at 10 p.m. So ends the story. Now you must stay with me, be my guest 11 or 12 days more. I'll send you on your way with gifts and fine ones, 3 chariot horses and a polished car, a hammered cup too, so that all your days, tipping the red wine for the deathless gods, you will remember me. Why 11 or 12 days? Telemachus answered, Lord, son of Atreus, no, you must not keep me. Not that a year with you would be too long. I never could be homesick here. I find your tales and all you say so marvelous. But time hangs heavy on my shipmates' hands. At holy Pylos, if you make me stay. As for your gift, now, let it be some keepsake. Horses I cannot take to Ithaca. Let me bestow them back on you to serve your glory here. My lord, you rule wide country, rolling and rich with clover, galing, gale, and all the grains, red wheat and hoary barley. At home we have no level runs or meadows, but highland goat land, prettier than plains though. Grasses and pasture land are hard to come by upon the islands tilted in the sea, and Ithaca is the island of them all. That doesn't make sense. That does make sense. And it doesn't sound too crazy. I don't know. When usually when like for example when Zircon visits, it's for like a couple days because the travel is kind of annoying. I could imagine he's been traveling already 4 days. Have you ever read Pride and Prejudice? It's just that like travel, they didn't have cars and planes and stuff obviously, so travel was just such a different thing. In Pride and Prejudice, one of the girls, I don't remember, it's been ages. One of the girls goes to visit like they don't really say how far, but it's kind of like their neighboring household. Um which could mean anything. Either way, they visit this house, and they were just planning to stay for the day, but then one of them gets sick, and she ends up just staying there for weeks, just because it's easier than traveling home. Like, and I know that's also thousands of years later, but it's such a different culture difference of like, especially when you are more noble, you know? Like, casually just randomly staying for a couple weeks at a place is just kinda like what you do. I'm taking a brief pause to eat some candy, hold on. Zircon, I don't think I would at all beat you in Minesweeper. How long is this chapter? Like, I don't even think I have a shot. Could be fun. Would you battle me on Minecraft speedrunning? What if I said at the end of this chapter? That would be a significantly longer break for sure. But we should do that sometime. Well, it's not like they sent a letter to him being like, "Hey, Menelaus, we're gonna stay. Is it cool if we stay like a week or so?" They couldn't send a letter. You're trying to easy games in a row. If you just get really unlucky and click on a bomb first try when like the new board opens, is that immediately a loss? Okay. This is why you wouldn't survive in ancient Greece. Okay. At this, the deep lunged man of battle smiled. Then he said kindly, patting the boy's hand, "You come of good stock, lad. That was well spoken. I'll change the gift then, as indeed I can. Let me see what is costliest and most beautiful of all the precious things my house contains. A wine bowl, mixing bowl, all wrought of silver, but rimmed with hammered gold. Let this be yours. It is Hephaestus' work, given me by Phidemos, captain and king of Sidon. He received me during my travels. Let it be yours, I say." This was their discourse on this morning. Meanwhile, guests were arriving at the great lord's house, bringing their sheep and wine, the ease of men, with loaves their calmly achieved women sent to make a feast in hall. At the same hour, before the distant manor of Odysseus, the suitors were competing at the discus throw and javelin on a measured field they used. Arrogant lords at play. The two best men, Antinos and Eurymachus, presided. Now Phronos' son, Noamon, came to see them with a question for Antinos. He said, "Do any of us know or not, Antinos, what day Telemachus will be home from Pylos? He took my ship, but now I need it back to make a cruise to Elis, where the plains are. I have a dozen mares at pasture there, with mute colts yet unweaned. My notion is to bring one home and break him in for labor." What do you mean by that? His first words made them stare, for they knew well Telemachus could not have gone to, but inland with his flocks or to the swineherd. Euphestes' son Antinos quickly answered, "Tell the story straight. He sailed? Who joined him? A crew he picked up here in Ithaca? Or his own slaves? He might have done it that way. And will you make it clear whether he took the ship against your will? Did he ask for it? Did you lend it to him?" "Now," said the son of Cronios in reply, "lent it to him, and freely. Who would not? When a prince of that house asks for it in trouble, hard to refuse the favor, it seems to me. As for his crew, the best men on the island, after ourselves, went with him. Mentor I noted going aboard, or a god who looked like Mentor. The strange thing is, I saw Lord Mentor here in the first light yesterday, although he sailed 5 days ago for Pylos." Turning away, Noamon took the path to his father's house, leaving the two men there, baffled and hostile. They called the rest in from the playing field and made them all sit down so that Antinos could speak out from the storm cloud of his heart. Swollen with anger and his eyes blazed. "A bad business, Telemachus had the gall to make that crossing, though we all said he could not. So the young cub roars up a first-rate crew, in spite of all our crowd, and puts to sea. What devilment will he be up to next time? Zeus blasts the life out of him before he's grown. Just give me a fast ship and 20 men. I'll intercept him, board him on the strait, between the crags of Same and this island. He'll find his sea adventure after his father, swamping work in the end." They all cried, "Ay," and "after him," and trailed back to the manor. I was going to search up something else, and I forgot. Oh yeah, should I be searching up how to correctly say these names, or do you guys care? Am I going to get flamed saying them wrong? Maybe we'll do that later. Need like a list of cats. Surely that would be great. Now, not much time went by before Penelope learned what was afoot among the suitors. Medon, the crier, told her. He had been outside the wall and heard them in the court conspiring. Into the house and up the stairs he ran to her with his news upon his tongue. But at the door Penelope met him crying, "There's a baby. Show me this baby." Fishbone's here. Do you want to hear? Do you want to see Fishbone? Oh, Bone. top-down view of Fishbone. The phone. Fishbone, cooperate. Really good angles of Fishbone here. Okay, he's gone. Sorry, Fishbone intrusion. Um, now there's cat hair all over my gloves. That's okay, you can't see it. Where were we? But at the door, Penelope met him, crying, "Why have they sent you up here now? To tell the maids of King Odysseus, leave your spinning, time to go down and slave to feed those men? I wish this were the last time they came feasting, courting me or consorting here, the last. Each day you crowd this house like wolves to eat away my brave son's patrimony. When you were boys, did your own fathers tell you nothing of what Odysseus was for them? In word and act impeccable, disinterested towards all the realm, though it is king's justice to hold one man abhorred and love another. No man alive could say Odysseus wronged him, but your own hearts, how different, and your deeds, how soon are benefactions all forgotten." Now, Medon, the alert and cool man, answered, "I wish that were the worst of it, my lady. But they intend something more terrible. May Zeus forfend and spare us. They plan to drive the keen bronze through Telemachus when he comes home. He sailed away, you know, to hallowed Pylos and old Lake Daemon for news about his father." Her knees failed, and her heart failed as she listened, and all her power of speech went out of her. Tears came, but the rich voice could not come. Only after a long while she made answer, "Why has my child left me? He has no need for those long ships on which men shake out sail to tug like horses, breasting miles of sea. Why did he go? Must he, too, be forgotten?" Then Medon, the perceptive man, replied, "A god moved him, who knows? For his own heart sent him to learn in Pylos if his father roams the wide world still, or what befell him. He left her then and went down through the house, and now the pain around her heart benumbed her. Chairs were a step away, but far beyond her. She sank down on the doorsill of the chamber, wailing, and all her woman, young and old, made a low murmur of lament about her. Until at last she broke out through her tears, "Dearest companions, what has Zeus given me? Pain, more pain than any living woman. My lord, my lion heart, gone long ago, the bravest man and best of the Danaans, famous through Hellas and Argive midlands, and now the squalls have blown my son, my dear one, an unknown boy, southward. No one told me. O brute creatures, not one soul would dare to wake me from my sleep. You knew the hour he took the black ship out to sea. If I had seen that sailing in his eyes, he should have stayed with me for all his longing. Stayed or left me dead in the great hall. Go, someone, now, and call old Dolios, the slave my father gave me before I came. my orchard keeper. Tell him to make haste and put these things before Laertes. He may plan some kind of action. Let him come to cry shame on these ruffians who would murder Odysseus' son and heir and end his line. The dear old nurse, Euryclea, answered her. Sweet mistress, have my throat cut without mercy, or what you will. It's true, I won't conceal it. I knew the whole thing, gave him his provisions, grain and sweet wine I gave, and a great oath to tell you nothing till 12 days went by, or till you heard of it yourself or missed him. He hoped you would not tear your skin lamenting. Come, bathe and dress your loveliness afresh, and go up to the upper rooms with all your maids to ask help from Athena, Zeus's daughter. She it will be who saves this boy from death. Spare the old man this further suffering. Blissful gods cannot so hate this his line. Heirs of Archistios, one will yet again be lord of the tall house and the far fields. She hushed her weeping in this way and soothed her. The lady Penelope arose and bathed, dressing her body in her freshest linen, filled a basket with barley, and led her maids to the upper rooms, where she besought Athena. Tireless children of Zeus, graciously hear me. If ever Odysseus burned at our altar fire, thigh bones of beef or mutton and sacrificed, remember it for my sake. Save my son, shield him, and make the killers go astray. She ended with a cry, and the goddess heard her. Now voices rose from the shadowy hall below, where the suitors were assuring one another. Our so long courted queen is even now of a mind to marry one of us, and knows nothing of what is destined for her son. Of what was destined, they in fact knew nothing, but Antinos addressed them in a whisper. No boasting, are you mad? And no loud talk. Someone might hear it and alarm the house. Come along now, be quiet this way. Come, we'll carry out the plan our hearts are set on. Picking out 20 of the strongest seamen, he led them to the ship at the sea's edge, and down they dragged her in deeper water. Stepping a mast in her and furled sails, and oars a trail from thongs looped over thin thole, over thole pin. Ready all, then tried the white sail hoisting. While men-at-arms carried their gear aboard, they moored the ship some way offshore and left her to take their evening meal there, waiting for night to come. Okay, what is thole pins? The fulcrum for an oar. Okay. Like Penelope at that hour in her high chamber lay silent, tasting neither food nor drink, and thought of nothing but her princely son. Could he escape, or would they find and kill him? Her mind turning at bay like a concerned lion, in whom fear comes as hunters close the ring. But in her sick thought, swept sleep overtook her, and she dozed off, her body slack and still. Now it occurred to the grey-eyed goddess Athena to make a figure of dream in a woman's form. Iphthime, great Icaros's other daughter, whom Eumelos of Perea took as bride. The goddess sent this dream to Odysseus's house to quiet Penelope and end her grieving. So passing by the strap slit through the door, the image came a gliding down the room to stand at her bedside and murmur to her. Sleepest thou, sorrowing Penelope? The gods whose life is eager, his ease no longer suffer thee to pine and weep then. He returns unharmed, thy little one, no way hath he offended. Then pensive Penelope made this reply, slumbering sweetly in the gates of dream. Sister, hath thou come hither? Why, aforetime never wouldst come so far away thy dwelling. And am I bid be done with all my grieving? But see what anguish hath my heart and soul. My lord, my lion heart gone, long ago the bravest man and best of the Danaans, famous through Hellas and the Argive midlands, and now my son, my dear one, gone seafaring, a child untrained in hardship or in counsel. Ay, 'tis for him I weep more than his father. Ay, how I tremble for him, lest some blow befall him at men's hands or out on the sea. Cruel are they and many who plot against him to take his life before he can return. Now the dim phantom spoke to her once more. Lift up thy heart and fear not overmuch, for by his side one goes whom all men else invoke as their defender. One so powerful, Pallas Athena, in thy tears she pitied thee, and now hath sent me that I so assure thee. Then said Penelope the wise, if thou art numinous and hath ears for divine speech, O tell me, what of Odysseus, man of woe? Is he alive still somewhere? Seeth he daylight still, or gone in death to the sunless underworld? The dim phantom said only this in answer. Of him I may not tell thee this discourse, alive or dead, and empty words are evil. The wavering form withdrew along the door bolt into a draught of wind, and out of sleep Penelope awoke in better heart for that clear dream in the twilight of the night. Meanwhile the suitors had got under way, planning the death plunge for Telemachus. Between the isles of Ithaca and Same, sea is broken by an islet. Asteres, with access to both channels from a cove. In ambush here that night the Achaeans lay. So that's chapter 4. Could take a little break, do one thing of Minesweeper if you really want me to, Zircon. I might also take a break and we can learn some pronunciation. Might be a good plan. And then, how long is this next chapter? Only 10:20. Oh, this next chapter is pretty. We can definitely keep reading, I think. Do I have a Minesweeper account? Great question. Uh, okay. Considering the username Addicts Bones already exists, probably have. No. Yep, we're in. Hello, Tapoli. We are taking a brief pause. Bum, 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 bum. Did I not save this? Oh my, how do I play a game? Start a new game? Beginner. Reef Minesweeper pause. So, what's the flag button? What's that? It's a great question to ask. What's the flag button? That's what you really want to hear from your opponent. Okay. Oh, I meant to hit the other button. I swear I meant to hit the flag button. Great going. What? What am I looking at? How do I start a new game? Okay. Awesome. Great start. Great start. Um, that one. I also kind of one of my coworkers is getting really into chess.com. I may have played half a game of chess. And then a customer walked in and I couldn't finish, so I had to forfeit, which is unfortunate. Um, Getting really into the classics lately is what I'm saying. Okay, focus up. Oh, well, that sure is helpful. Okay, we're gonna say there, not there. This is crazy. Has to be there. Two has to be there. Yeah. Guys, I did it. Okay, Zarkon, how do I play against you? Do you guys want me? Should I zoom in? That might help. That'll be better. A 1,000 players online. Go into multiplayer. Mario Pro Gamer. Do I just type in your name? Why do I have to create it? Is your username fake Zircon? Gotta be you. That's gotta be you. Now we're waiting on Zircon? Come on. Okay. Should we start? Oh god. Where am I? I'm assuming I'm this board. This is true. Okay. It's gotta be this one, this one, this one, and this one. I see, I see, I see, I see, I see. Oh goodness. This mouse middle click kinda sucks. Because that's how you do this thing. Is it not? Oh, you can also just left click. Oh, would you look at that? Whoa. I'm learning the wonders of Minesweeper. Can't even see the whole. Okay, there we are. Ah! What the fuck? It blew me up. I did not die. That is kind of crazy. Does it just reset that area? Does it reshuffle yours? That's really funny. Oh, you're done. Okay, okay, okay. To be fair, I barely know what I'm doing. So, la da 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 da. Yeah, I can see this. Oh wait, is it? No, it's not the same. We don't have the same map, do we? No. That'd be crazy. Is it the same? Except where it blew. Oh. So I can just. Oh, it won't even let me click the. Is it grayed out? Oh, it's like slightly grayed out. What the hell? Why does it do that? But I can still kind of copy from you. Tee hee hee. This is how the game is played. How do I end this? Have you not already won? Okay, yes. You have. Why does it just let me keep going? What the hell? Well, it says loss at the top. That's a loss. You want me to finish this? I'm just copying yours. Dum, 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 da, 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 da. I'm starting to understand what's happening. I would like to verse you in Minecraft speedrunning. I think that would be so fun. I think you can also get a couple of people in a game at once if you do a custom, which is pretty fun. We could get a whole gang of people doing Minecraft speed. I mean, we could after I finish another chapter. Okay, I'm not actually copying from your board, mainly because that's where my phone stand is. Um, it's also blocking chat, so that's really fun. There's so many over there. Um, um, so okay, okay. We are getting somewhere. It's got to be that one. Six. One, two, three, four, 6. Okay, okay. Let's see, 8. That would just be just. I mean, that I feel like eight's slightly easier because it's just all of them. .4D Minesweeper, brother. We did it. Ugh. Okay, there goes Archon. We did it. Now, I want to hear potentially how you're supposed to say some names. I just had it. Telemachus? How do I put that on like a note to save for later? You know what? This is going in a folder. What's some other words? What's some other Telemachus? I don't like that voice. Achian. Um, how to say Merry Christmas in French? Dude, that's crazy. I feel like if you do that, you probably should stream that a little bit. Euryclea? You want to make 4D? Oh my goodness. This is like my sister making D20 Yahtzee. Lacedaemon. What'd you just say to me? Lace demon? Lacedaemon. Programming concept? I don't know what you're saying to me. It's a town. Um, there was most of the like the suitors' names and like the sons of Nestor. Tinnous. Tinnous. Well, I'm going to assume it did not start with programming. I already. Fury Ghost. Yurimagos. Got that one, I think. I don't think I'm far off for most of these, honestly. No way, Mon. I know Damon, but like that appears in I think Shakespeare quite a bit instead of like a demon. Yeah, that would make sense. No, my frames. You lasted almost 2 hours, boys. I still don't know what's wrong. I literally reset my whole router and reset OBS because it was already having issues when I first booted up stream. Need like Nestor's son's name. That one was really wild. Here it is. Isis Stratus. Okay. Is it still lagging? Are we still lagging? Yep. Awesome. I don't know how to fix that. Genuinely, my internet says it's fine. You're fine. You're doing great. There was some people outside yesterday working on telephone poles. There's like a new giant wire coiled up on a telephone pole. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but it's been so bad for streaming lately. But like everything else is fine. I I've dropped almost 10,000 frames. Yep, 10,000. It's really bad. The fuck? Are we back? Yeah, I'm still dropping frames like crazy. I just want to read a book. I just want to read a fucking book. God, this is so annoying. I fucking hate ISPs. do your one fucking job. Literally, like on my phone, because I can like control the Wi-Fi from it. If at all you can even fucking hear me, it says, "Oh, yep, strong connection, strong connection." Unless it's the actual like board of my Ethernet, which could be the case. But even then, like I can unplug it and it still won't do anything. Okay, we are on Wi-Fi without Ethernet. It says it's connected. And it's still dropping frames. And YouTube isn't even receiving enough frames to even go live. If you are hearing this, I'm pretty sure the DC screen is because I am unplugging my Ethernet and it has to switch on to Wi-Fi, which disconnects OBS briefly. Yeah, no, it's my whole shit. YouTube, I can see literally going in and out of being live. I don't know what to do. This is so fucking annoying. Like, I'm not even doing anything. OBS has just disconnected just because there's no Wi-Fi and reconnected again. But my computer says full connection to Wi-Fi, so I don't know. Anyway, hi VOD watchers. I don't know what's happening. If you can tell, like, YouTube is still going. Like, I can still use Wi-Fi, like, play Minesweeper and shit. But for some reason, OBS is just not happening. This better not be a stupid Windows 11 thing that they're trying to push. Or it better not be Rogers because they keep fucking calling me to talk about deals that they have. It better not be them being like, "Oh, you could upgrade to this thing and maybe that'll fix it for $20 fucking dollars more a month." I don't know. I don't know, man. No idea if we're back. Also, sorry if you're in my Discord. Max is playing Peak. 4 hours ago. I didn't know Matt played Peak. Are we back? I do not know. Mainly because Twitch is already telling it is unstable. What? I did kind of like Peak. I would play it again, I think. Damn. Okay, so far OBS is telling me 0 dropped frames. My bitrate's at about 5,000, which I could raise back to 5,500. Not that it really matters. But the bitrate on the Twitch page says only 4,000 and that my network connection's unstable. YouTube is still loading, but it says it's healthy. Okay, now Twitch is saying it's fine. I genuinely, I don't know. I hate this. I hate the internet. It's so annoying. Because it's like, the internet is also one thing that's like, it's not tangible, so you can't like just go and fix it. That is the nature of the internet. But like, as I was kind of saying, yesterday I saw some people working on telephone poles outside of our house, and there's a new big coil of something or other outside. I don't know if that has anything to do with maybe they are trying to fix something, but it's been like the past couple weeks I've been like really dropping frames and it keeps getting worse. But all of my apps, all of like anything that says like I restarted, not restarted, but like I can look and see the connection for every device that's connected to the Wi-Fi in this house, and the Rogers app that I have says, "Oh, it's fine. It's strong. The Wi-Fi connection's healthy." And my computer, like the little Wi-Fi thing, says it's connected to the internet with no. I did some troubleshooting. It found nothing. I don't know. Maybe it just needed to reset the drivers. Let's hope so. I guess I do. But it's also like I turn off completely my computer every night. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I've reset it a lot. But every time that it went down, at least the first 2 times that you saw the DC screen was me unplugging my Ethernet from the back of my computer, which swaps it to Wi-Fi, which disconnects OBS briefly and then like reconnects. And then it would just start disconnecting randomly as I'm just sitting here doing literally nothing. So I don't know. Because part of me is like, maybe it's Rogers, and they're just fucking lying to me because they love calling me to tell me about their promotions that I've told them to fucking take me off the list. Maybe they are trying to get me to pay for more and are fucking throttling it. I don't know, behind the scenes. That's what it feels like. They're already an evil company, why not? Um, but another part of me is like, it's only OBS. I'm only having OBS issues. Like, I can watch YouTube. I played Minesweeper, like all that is fine. YouTube was still going when I was having all these issues. You've never? Dude, it gets to a point where I usually I ignore their calls, but sometimes I'll pick it up and I go, "Stop fucking calling me." Maybe not with that language, but, like, especially with TELUS. That was my worst thing with TELUS. TELUS, also has a really bad reputation, same with kind of Rogers, but I feel like TELUS is worse, of just selling your information. Just they have such bad, like, information leaks. When I finally quit TELUS, I'm pretty sure a third party who isn't actually related to TELUS, um, calls you all the time to be like, "We see that you canceled your TELUS subscription. Are you sure?" And I'm like, "Yes, fuck off." And they called me multiple times. Internet providers should not do that. Could you imagine your water your water and power guys just, like, calling you randomly to check in? That's absurd! Oh my god, every day with these fucking it doesn't help that the Wi-Fi at my work also sucks, and it's also Rogers, because there's only 2 fucking options. Unless you go with, Stars? No, something like that. That's more for rural stuff. That's funny, why do they have your number? They always call me, and I'm like, "I honestly have no way to verify that you are from Rogers or if you're just actually scamming me." And so usually they do a little bit of their spiel, and I go, "No, I don't have any questions, besides take me off your list. I've already told you, take me off of your list to call. I don't wanna hear from you. There should be no reason Rogers is calling me unless, like, I'm not paying my bills or something, which I am. I am. I literally got their email today. I hate them. I hate internet service providers. Oh my god. Okay. Well, I haven't dropped frames so far, but who's to say? It's really hard to test. It's so bad, man. It's so bad. How are so many people complacent in this? But also, like, what the hell else am I supposed to do? Anyway, the only other option I could see as why this is happening is my Ethernet cord itself potentially is degrading. But if that were the case, Zircon, can you build internet for us? Zircon, build internet. If it was the case of the actual cord, I feel like I would be having issues with other things because I've been having no other issues loading any other web page. It's just with OBS. So I feel like it's either a very specific internet thing. OBS does take a lot of internet. I do understand that. So maybe it's just the amount that OBS takes. It's just not being reached from my computer. Or it just feels like something between OBS and like my computer's internet is just not connecting. And I don't know how to fix that. And it's frustrating. Because all OBS will say is just like, oh, try restarting your modem. And all the modem will say is, oh, it's not us. Try restarting and turning off your VPNs. And OBS just goes back and go, oh, it's not me. No one's taking accountability in this house. That's what it feels like going onto these forums. Genuinely. Oh my goodness, great. Okay, well, I guess I'm back. I might as well read another chapter because I want to. I want to try and read like 50 pages ish every time I stream. So let me get that set up again. Okay, some. Okay, there we go. I've also taken off my headphones. I may have got ear piercings yesterday. So, and they're not too bad. It's just like I don't really have a reason to be wearing them right now. I do like background music, but okay. We're calm, we're chill. I kind of mixed my words there together. I swear I can read. I mean, I can. I don't think I've been stumbling over words really that much. And I did take that break to go get more water. Um, okay. Don't know why that's laggy as well. It's also a case of like the only people using the internet right now is me streaming. I don't even have a game pulled up. It's that, my phone, and Fitz, who I think is just watching the stream. Like, Echo isn't even home. So it's like, what is stealing here? We've been fine for a year and a half. That's how all these things go. The first year in my apartment, I had no issues. The second year, I had every faucet replaced. Anyway. Fix this a little bit. Chapter 5 Sweet Nymph, Open Sea. We might be getting Odysseus's point of view now. Dawn came up from the couch of her reclining, leaving her lord Tithonus' brilliant side with fresh light in her arms for gods and men. And the master of heaven and high thunder, Zeus, went to his place among the gods assembled, hearing Athena tell Odysseus's woe. For she, being vexed that he was still sojourning in the sea chambers of Calypso, said, O Father Zeus, and gods in bliss forever, let no man holding a scepter as a king think to be mild or kind or virtuous. Let him be cruel and practice evil ways, for those Odysseus ruled cannot remember the fatherhood and mercy of his reign. Meanwhile he lives and grieves upon that island, in thraldom to the nymph he cannot stir. Cannot fare homeward, for no ship is left him, fitted with oars, no crewmen or companions to pull him on the broad back of the sea. Against his son, who sought news of his father in the holy lands of Philos and Lacedaemon. Immediately forgot how to say it. It is just that, Lacedaemon. To this the summoner of Cloud replied, "My child, what odd complaints you let escape you. Have you not, you yourself, arranged this matter, as we all know, so that Odysseus will bring these men to book on his return? And are you not the one to give Telemachus a safe route for sailing? Let his enemies encounter no one and row home again." He turned then to his favorite son and said, "Hermes, you have much practice on our missions. Go make it known to the softly braided nymph that we, whose will is not subject to error, order Odysseus home. Let him depart. But let him have no company, gods or men, only a raft that he must lash together. And after 20 days worn out at sea, he shall make land upon the garden isle, Scythera, of our kinsmen, the Phaeacians. Let these men take him to their hearts in honor, and berth him in a ship and send him home, with gifts of garments, gold, and bronze. So much he had not counted on from Troy. Could he have carried home his share of plunder? His destiny is to see his friends again, under his own roof in his father's country." No words were lost on Hermes the wayfinder, who bent to tie his beautiful sandals on, ambrosial gold, that carry him over water or endless land in a swish of the wind, and took the wand with which he charms asleep, or when he wills awake, the eyes of men. So wand in hand he paced into the air, shot from Pieria down to sea level, and veered to skim the swell. A gull patrolling between the wave crests of the desolate sea will dip to catch a fish and douse his wings. No higher above the white caps Hermes flew until the distant island lay ahead. Then, rising shoreward from a violent ocean, he stepped up to the cave. Why did Zeus just say, "Yeah, he can go"? Athena just asked him to? Why is it buffering again? Why is it doing this? Do I have a fucking, like, virus? I could just try re-downloading OBS later. This is so... Okay, hold on, folks.